that we work so hard to do. But it's just a certain division that needs to be brought to everyone's attention and understanding that, no, this is something that's been going on. And it's just getting to a point where it's like, all right, now enough is enough. I think that's
enough is enough, man. Enough is enough, man. Yeah. Yeah, enough is enough.
a larger conversation that needs to be had that is really above us. And I think that is the part that we really need to get to. So hopefully at All-Star, we can have an opportunity and a conversation because at this time, we something needs to change.
At All-Star, they want to have an opportunity and a conversation. That's what I was alluding to in the beginning. They're going to walk into Caitlin Clark's room.
We can sit back and we can watch what's happening to Caitlin Clark. And they know how they're treating her, why they're treating her that way.
She became a roadshow. And I don't know that, and I don't want to slight anybody in college, but I don't remember saying that in my time. And that's held true. We've wanted a player or a league that can, sort of transcend some of these spaces and have a roadshow. The NBA has had their players that people come to see, right? So when the Wolves sell tickets, there are certain games that they know people are going to come watch certain players. And Caitlin Clark and some of the other rookies give us that. Obviously, Caitlin, being the headline.
Cheryl Reeve just made a call that's about to blow the doors off an already tense WNBA All-Star locker room, and A'ja Wilson is reportedly not taking it well at all.
Look, man, the WNBA All-Star draft just been had, man, and these are the teams, man. And for Team Spoon, we have the baby goat, the face of the league, the biggest in the league, one of the best and greatest women's basketball players to ever exist. I'm talking about good from birth, great from birth, Caitlin Clark.
Reeve is coaching one of the 2 All-Star squads in Chicago this weekend, and word is she's deciding on team captain duties right now, days before tip-off. Normally, that pick goes to the vocal leader, the multiple-time MVP, the player who's held that armband before without anyone blinking. Instead, Reeve is reportedly leaning toward handing that role to Caitlin Clark. Not because of seniority, not because of championship rings, because Clark is the one filling arenas, moving ratings, and selling out merchandise tables. And Reeve knows exactly what that means for a game built to showcase the league's 30th season.
Gang! Fever Gang! The God Caitlin Clark vaporized the Seattle Storm, dropping 45 points, a 45 and 10 double-double. Let's fucking go, Caitlin Clark. We see all the fucking haters. We see all you bitch-ass clowns switching up on the guy, Caitlin Clark. We see y'all listening to the narratives, all the bullshit, all the fucking clowns all across the world. Oh, she ain't living up to the hype and dropped 45 points.
And if you're looking for a reason a coach would make a call like that, you don't have to dig very far. Clark just dropped a franchise record 45 points and 10 assists against the Seattle Storm, becoming the first player in WNBA history, not the first guard, not the first Fever player, the first player period to post a 40-point 10-assist game. She did all of that on a restricted workload, capped under 30 minutes on the floor. That's not a hot shooting night. Where everything happens to fall, that's a player operating on a completely different level than everyone else on the court, teammates included. And her teammates had a great night too.
They're gonna knock on the door. Caitlin Clark's gonna open the door to her hotel room. She's gonna peek through it, and there's gonna be that, that sliding thing on the door, and all it's gonna be is like the chain. And she's gonna peek through and say, "Oh shit!" She's gonna try to close the door, and then all the players at one time, Brittany Griner, A'ja Wilson, they're all gonna just, "Oh, let me in. They're gonna bum rush her. They're gonna bum rush into that room. And they're going to tie Caitlin Clark up to a chair. They're going to tell Caitlin Clark, "You're not leaving this room until you come out and you denounce those pesky fans of yours."
But here's where things get genuinely messy. A'ja Wilson has reportedly said she needs to sit down with the players, and multiple outlets have pointed out that comment is specifically aimed at Clark after string Of altercations with referees that's had fans arguing for weeks about who actually gets the benefit of the doubt on the court. Some fans have pointed out the irony too. Wilson has had her own run-ins with officials that got largely brushed off by the media, while Clark bringing up a concern to a referee turned into a full-blown national story with think pieces attached. There's already real tension simmering here before these two even share a bench together this weekend, and that's before you add a captaincy decision into the mix.
Look at Angel Wilson barking at the ref. Look how she's talking to the ref. Y'all were cool with this. Look, so much aggression. Let me guess, y'all gonna call this passion, because this is what y'all do. Just last night, y'all was trying to trash Caitlyn because she was upset and spoke her mind to the refs, as she should have, because the refs continued to not give her calls that we can clearly see are calls. But I guess when Angel Wilson does it, it's fine. Why?
Now stack a captaincy snub on top of an already planned players meeting, and you've basically built a powder keg with a lid fuse sitting right next to it. This isn't two players on separate rosters who can keep a comfortable distance and let the tension play out from afar. Wilson and Clark are teammates for this exact All-Star game, scheduled for July 25th in Chicago as part of the league's 30th season celebration, and they're supposed to be sharing a locker room, a bench, a game plan, and now, apparently, a captain's role that isn't going the direction Wilson is used to seeing it go. That's not a small wrinkle. That's the kind of setup that makes a tense weekend into a genuinely uncomfortable one.
Minding their own business, and then they drop this crappy hit piece on Caitlin Clark, attacking her, attacking the fans, and trying to diminish her accomplishments. That's why I'm not a big fan of Time Magazine picking A'ja Wilson for Athlete of the Year. I think this was pre-planned because they're saying a lot of crap about Caitlin Clark, her accomplishments. To me, the articles about Caitlin Clark has nothing to do with A'ja Wilson. And all it does is reveals A'ja Wilson's character.
This tension didn't just show up out of nowhere either. Wilson said back in December in a Time magazine interview that the hype around Clark's rise erased WNBA history for a minute, and she added flatly that she didn't like that. She was careful with her wording too, saying the hype wasn't a hit at me, and that her actual issue was with fans overlooking players who built the league long before Clark ever stepped on a WNBA court. That's a fair point to raise once. Wilson has 3 championships and 4 MVP awards, and she's earned the right to speak on the league's history, but she keeps bringing it up almost every single media cycle around Clark. Whether it's a magazine profile, an award show, or a random press availability, Wilson ends up somewhere in that conversation.
And I've come to know Caitlin really well. She's an incredible player and also an incredible person. And she wants to focus on being the best player she can. And she's become a bit of a political football in this country. And I think it's incredibly unfair to her. I don't think that issue is ultimately about officiating. It's sort of, it's become political ping pong with her. And she's a young woman who's trying to improve her game,
right.
Focus on being the best player as she can. And I don't even think it's fair to her that this has become a separate storyline.
And that contrast is exactly why Reeves' reported decision lands the way it does. Adam Silver himself called Clark a political football just last week when reporters pushed him on the ongoing noise surrounding her, including a suspension report tied to one of her recent run-ins with officials. That phrase alone tells you plenty. Silver is essentially admitting Clark has become something bigger than a basketball player at this point, at a symbol different groups fight over, way beyond anything that actually happens between the lines during a game. And this isn't the first time he stepped in either. Back when Clark took a hard, flagrant foul from Chindi Carter in 2024, Silver publicly called it a welcome to the league moment while also making a point of saying it wasn't out of the ordinary. He's walked that line for 2 years now, trying to protect the growth Clark represents for the whole league without fanning any extra flames that didn't need fanning.
Congratulations, Captain Caitlin. Good luck in the upcoming All-Star game. Congratulations, Captain Caitlin. Good luck in the upcoming All-Star game.
Fans have already started reacting to the captain report, and the split online is about what you'd expect from a story like this. One side is pointing out that Clark is the one moving TV numbers, ticket prices, and jersey sales, so of course a coach trying to put together the best possible broadcast in Chicago leans toward her. The other side is saying Reeve just poured gasoline on a fire that Wilson was already trying to handle quietly with the team, meeting before the cameras even got involved. Neither side is exactly wrong, and that's part of what makes this whole thing so hard to look away from.
The face of the league, the upcoming best player in the league, man, Caitlin Clark. Then we got Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, what the 3 Indiana Fever starters. Okay. Then we got Old Miles, and then we got Natasha Howard. Then we got Paige Beckers. Then we got Big Jess. Yeah, Jess Shepard. Yeah. Then we got Gabby Williams and we got Aja Wilson. And man, I'm not gonna lie, man. This is year 3 for us in the league, but also year 3 as an All-Star, man. Too many can't say that they've been an All-Star every year that they played. Too many people can't really say it.
Remember too, this year's rosters weren't picked the usual way at all. Legends Cynthia Cooper and Teresa Weatherspoon served as honorary general managers and drafted the teams live on ESPN, turning the whole selection process into its own broadcast event for the league's 30th season. Every single decision this weekend, captains included, is happening under way more cameras and way more scrutiny than a normal All-Star game usually gets. There's no quiet way to hand Clark the captain armband over Wilson here. Everyone's going to see it happen in real time, and everyone's going to have an opinion about it within minutes.
Yeah, it's just cute. Like, I don't know if she's ever, like, maybe surprised by what she does, but, like, even that 3, I think she was, like, almost probably a little surprised that it went in. It was just one of those plays where it's like, dang, like it's one of those nights where you're really feeling it, you're really in the zone, and to finish through contact, that was pretty fun. And I actually had probably the best view of it because I was kind of trailing right behind her, so it was pretty cool, and obviously got the crowd into it too.